Today we're going to talk about how to do a research presentation. So first off, let's talk about what is a research presentation. A research presentation is your opportunity to present your findings from your research project. It's usually conducted at a research fair or conference. It can either be to your research group, a set of judges for a competition, or in a conference simply meant for sharing your project information to the broader scientific community. Think of it as an opportunity to not only share your hard work, but also to get valuable feedback and questions for your research. So how can you conduct a research presentation? There are 3 primary methods. First up is slides. Slides are a spoken presentation, and the series of slides can contain both images and text. The slides should be a guide, not a script, so make them visually appealing and engaging to your audience. Next is a speech. So a speech is a form of public speaking about a topic that addresses your audience. So make sure to capture your audience's attention. Use questions, stories, and make your points easy to follow. Last, we have a poster, which is a visual way of explaining your research. So a poster should primarily focus on showing, not writing everything out. Lastly, something less common is a video or interactive activity. So you don't usually find this in academic settings, but it's primarily used for engaging younger or less informed audiences about your research. And it frames your research in the context of what non-scientists could understand. So you can take some creative liberties here in how you present your work.
Next, we're going to go into a typical presentation outline. You're going to want to begin with a general brief background information section about your research to introduce your research question. Use this as an opportunity to ask real-world, relevant, or hypothetical questions in order to engage the audience. Background information can include definitions of key terms and the answers to some of the following questions. What is the research subject and why is it important? What is the issue or the knowledge gap that led you to your research question? For example, in my research, I started my background information section with, the European honeybee is essential to global pollination of flowering plants. However, they are experiencing widespread decline due to an increase in stressors. Next, you want to introduce the research question or goals. For example, I said, to identify how the consumption of methionine might affect a honeybee's cellular stress response. In question form, that might sound like, how might the consumption of methionine affect a honeybee's cellular stress response? Next, you have your methods and procedures section. Be thorough and specific about how you conducted your experiment. Next, summarize your findings. Use graphics if possible. It helps viewers understand data or content that you're presenting. I used 5 graphs in my poster with relevant explanations. I explained which treatments affected what and how. Lastly, conclude by returning to the research question. Provide an answer if possible that is concise and summarizes your work so far. What did the data show? The next thing you want to do in preparing for your research presentation is be prepared for questions. This is a crucial part of the process. It is helpful to not only those viewing your presentation, but to you as well. You can prepare to answer questions by practicing with others, especially with those who are unfamiliar with your research. They may ask questions you never thought of before. You can also make sure that you understand the scientific background behind your research that viewers of your research from other fields may ask questions about for context. Likewise, be sure you understand your research well enough that you can answer questions asked by someone who is knowledgeable about your field. Prepare for some hypothetical questions from them, like, suppose you had tested this variable using another methodology. What method would you employ instead? But why is your method the best? And what are caveats to your experiment? The most important type of questions to be able to answer are, why does your research matter? And what is significant about your results and methods in the field of science that you're studying? Also, what is your next line of inquiry following these results?
So how do you make your research presentation as successful and effective as you can? Well, there are 2 key things you can do. First off is pay attention to timing. Create an order of ideas for your presentation so that no one point is dragged on, and so that each idea receives appropriate and equal attention. Try not to say pause too long, or use filler words. They cost you time, confuse your audience, and also make your presentation less engaging. One tip is you can practice by recording yourself conducting your presentation. So when you look back at the video, you can clearly see where you may ramble or not go into detail enough. Work on those areas. The second key tip is make sure to engage your audience. And this can be done several ways. One way is capture their attention with quotes, hypotheticals, statistics, or stories. Try to come up with anecdotes or similes to break down your complex scientific information into things that are more easily understandable. For example, if your project is about bacterial motion, you could use the analogy of swimmers in a pool. Or for cell signaling, you can use the analogy of FedEx shipping. A second way to engage your audience is to engage with them, and this means you can ask if they have any questions, ask them questions, relate to them. The third thing you can do to engage your audience is you make effective use of your body language. So use engaging and confident body language. Keep your hands visible, keep posture straight, and vary your facial expressions. Practice to help make your body language more natural, and vary your body language in a way that's most natural to you.
Thank you so much for watching this video by Modulus Research. If you want to see more by us, feel free to check out our channel or any of our socials below. If you have any questions, drop them in the comments, and if you like this video, please subscribe and like this video. See you next time!